What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. BROKE the Game here, and today I want to talk to you about updating the Rise of Kingdoms tier list that I made before, I think 2 weeks ago, based on my predictions on how Baichu and Tokugawa Ieyasu will perform overall, both on the field and on rallying Garrison, because I have separate sections for that. And yeah, let's just get right to it. And I actually just made this new tier of SSS tier. And you guys might actually know what I'm about to do, which is put Pincer formation in SSS tier. Now, about 15 hours ago, we just saw the Pincer formation roll out in the game. And we were able to basically see what the special inscriptions of Pincer formation does. And I've said it in my previous video, my last video about Pincer formation on this, but having special inscriptions on Pincer formation, especially the one on the scroll and instrument, is almost as good as, if not better than, having one extra auxiliary skills on Season of Conquest. And I'll say this with a straight face. Having Pincer formation's special inscription, legendary inscriptions, will be better than having extra auxiliary skill each. So infantry who's using smite as their main source of damage nowadays is going to almost have 2 extra auxiliary skills for them to work on, which is just crazy. But that's how good Pincer is, like, to be really honest with you. And well, actually, in fact, let's just first take a look at it, because I think it's worthless for me to actually go over this tier list without talking about Pincer formation. Now, here are some of the Pincer formation special inscription effects, and you can take a look at the ones, two here on the the ones on the right side, basically, and upper right corner. The Toppler effect. It will give you 5% boost to smite damage, which is nice. 5% skill damage, whatever it is you want to call it. But then again, 5% bonus to smite damage, which is good. Whenever this troop deals smite damage, this target takes 20% increased smite damage for the next 3 seconds. And it could basically activate for your entire AoE. Now, this skill right here, this special inscription right here, is better than like 90% of the skills that commanders have in Rise of Kingdoms. And I'm not even joking. This is crazy. And let's look at Demolisher, which is even crazier, I would arguably. The wielder's troop gains 5% boost to smite damage. Alright, nice. Whenever their troop deals smite damage, it has 75% chance to ignore 50% of the target's defense. And this can also trigger multiple times in a single second, up to 5 times before entering into its cooldown. And if it only triggers once, the wielder's troop gains 100 extra rage. Oh, great. I've never seen a 50% target defense reduction in Rise of Kingdoms. And it gives you 5% smite bonus. And if you, by all means, if you actually accidentally trigger this on smite damage that was not meant to be basically the active skill, you get 100 extra rage, which is basically doing extra auto attack worth of extra rage. Crazy. Again, this is better than most of Rise of Kingdoms commanders' skill. 90%. So with that said, yeah, that's why I'm putting Pincer as a triple S tier. I think Lilith really screwed up balancing on Pincer, just because I think they were pressured to make it better than Arch, which gives you normal damage buff. And it buffs you with basically the smite damage or whatever skill damage that scales with normal damage. And on top of that, it also does more damage. It gives you more damage for basic attack and counter attack damage. So for you to make Pincer better and more attractive than Arch, they basically broke Pincer. And I said this again in an earlier video, but like, as a person who invested in combo damage formation, Delta formation, and then switched back to Arch because of how bad combo damage was performing as a rally lead, like, it's really discouraging to play the game, to be really honest with you, just to see how broken the Pincer formation is nowadays. But yeah, I think they really screwed up. But you're not here for that. You're not here to basically hear me vent about Pincer formation. So let's just go ahead and do the tier maker now. All right, Bai Chu. Bai Chu, I've said this before. Bai Chu is good. Is good, 100%. His first skill does enough AoE skill damage with smite damage, and that paired with Pincer is going to be amazing. But I'm going to exclude Pincer out of the equation because we're talking about how strong the commanders are. Now the question comes down to, is he better than Liu Che as an overall package, so that he can be in this S plus tier, which is the best commander of each troop type? I would actually put him at the very first seed of S instead. Again, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Bai Chu's first two skills are amazing, way overclassing those of Liu Che's skills, but rest of his kit is so anti-meta right now, where people are going in and out of the combat after using active skill and then run, active skill and run, active skill and run, that having a commander as a standalone who is basically going to benefit himself for staying longer in the fight and also tanking damage, and he basically takes less damage for a brief period of time as he gets down to 50%, 15%. Having one commander that does not synergize well with others is not going to really make him the best commander in the game. So among infantry, I think he's the best pairing for whatever smite damage commander they want to use, and most likely he's going to be best pairing for Liu Che. Now with that said, is Liu Che Bai Chu going to be beatable by Ho Arthur? I think that's debatable, but I think Liu Che Bai Chu will win because of overall power that they actually have more so. But as a Bai Chu as a standalone commander, is he better than Liu Che? I think that's arguable, but for now, because we don't have enough information, based on what I think, how the meta is and how it's not going to change just by adding one commander, which is Bai Chu in the game, I think for now, this is probably the best spot for Bai Chu. The very first spot of S tier, which is the best pairing or equivalent of the best troop type or best of each troop type commander. Now that will put, I think, William Wallace down to A tier. Now, is he better than Ragnar Prime? I think he's somewhere between Ragnar Prime and whatever his pairing is. I think I'll still put him here. Now, where is Skippy Prime? Where did I put him last time I did this? Oh, he's very first slot of the B tier. And here's the thing. I think Guan Yu still deserves this spot right here, which is very interesting because Guan Yu is such an old commander. But again, he's the only commander that you can use on the field that can do AoE silence. And in a murder ball situation, I think AoE silence is still irreplaceable to this meta. But I'll bump him down a little bit right below Joan of Arc Prime, because Joan of Arc Prime's usage is a lot better because she's so versatile in any situation for a cavalry commander. So I think I'll bump him down a little bit because, yeah, I think Joan of Arc Prime is a better commander overall, more versatile per se. But yeah, I think this is how I would arrange these. And about Nevsky, I'll actually swap the position. Actually, no, I don't think Nevsky needs to be moved anywhere. But I think I'll bump Belisarius Prime to be right next to Nevsky. And potentially above Nevsky, to be really honest with you. And this comes from the fact that I just read a comment on my last tier maker. And like, yeah, why is Belisarius Prime so low in the tier list? And I took a look at his kit. And although I'm a Cav main, I actually didn't touch Belisarius Prime because I already had Nevsky, and I wasn't going to build a third Cavalry March, so I didn't even think about building a Belisarius Prime. But I took a look at his kit, and I've actually talked to a lot of people who are using Belisarius Prime with Joan of Arc Prime, and I think nowadays it is arguable that Belisarius Prime is better pairing for Joan of Arc Prime. So with that said, inevitably, because this is a top pairing, so I think the current top 2 best pairing for Cavalry is actually Huo Arthur and Joan of Arc Prime and Belisarius Prime. I'm going to have to move Nevsky down, and I think he deserves a spot right after Skippy Prime. I think this is a pretty fair adjustment. Now, let's see. Let's take a look at before season conquest only. See if there's anything that I would change personally. Now, I think I'll bump down Edward with Woodstock a little bit, along with Khan, because their use is just very limited. But it's really tough for you to actually put them behind Saladin. But I'll just put them down a little bit. I think they're a little better than Richards. My apologies. I just moved them down below, I think, Thomas. I think that's a fair adjustment because Thomas can be used on the field and on the rallies and garrisons. So I think Thomas is a better commander than Edward or Bostock and Khan. Now, is there anything else that I can do here to make this further adjusted? No, I think that's it. Before season of conquest only, I think this is basically where it deserves. Alright, meta and Garrison. Now, I think Subutai still deserves a top spot for meta and Garrison. And where would I put Tokugawa Ieyasu? So I think Hera is still a much better commander than Tokugawa Ieyasu, just because of how much normal damage reduction that Hera has. And I think if you put in like 1,000 of archer and 1,000 of cavalry and use him as a secondary to Gorgo, that 30% mitigation of normal damage is irreplaceable by whatever Tokugawa Ieyasu has by 100%. So I think that's basically where he deserves his spot. He's definitely worse than Gorgo in my opinion, because if you put, and like I think his kit is not bad. It's just that what he can pair himself with in Rally and Garrison is really important. And unfortunately, I don't think he has that. Like, he has to be paired with Gorgo because he does Mighty Shield. And having Mighty Shield on top of Mighty Shield skill damage commander is not really a synergy there. Yeah, so that's why I would put him below Gorgo. And I don't think he can compete with Asher Venopal because he's still going to be meta Archer Rally. Scipio A as well, because he's going to be meta Infantry Rally. CY, probably not. Henry, though, would you be able to put him over Henry? Yeah, I think this is probably the best spot for Tokugawa Ieyasu right now. Because I think the reason why Henry thrives really well is because he's actually used with Ashurbanipal really well. And he does so much counterattack damage that it's really hard to swarm that. But even if you use Tokugawa Ieyasu with Gorgo, I think that's still worse than Hera, but still usable. But not as powerful as Gorgo Hera. But actually, Henry is really powerful. And Eleanor, I'll just put him right in front of Tarek and Ziad for now. Again, we haven't seen him in battle right now, and if he does perform really, really well in the meta Garrison meta, I think that's not because he's really powerful at all. I think that's probably because Pincer formation made him look very powerful along with Gorgo. So if there comes a meta where we use Gorgo with Tokugawa Ieyasu as the best infantry Garrison, it's definitely not because Tokugawa Ieyasu, whatever he has, is really good. It's because Pincer formation made him look good with Gorgo, is my honest opinion. So as a commander standalone power itself, I'll actually put him behind Eleanor. Because I don't think he's really well paired with Gorgo. And the 30% normal damage mitigation from Hera is still way better skill than I think whatever he provides on top of what Hera provides. Anything else that I will make from the B tier? No, those are pretty standard. I'll actually bump William up one by Nebu, because Nebu is who wants to use Nebu nowadays? But he's really good. But yeah, William is actually used a lot on the field, and he's good. He's a good pairing to Arthur if you're using him as a combo commander, and if you're using Philip elsewhere. So I'll bump him up a little bit. Yeah, I think this is a new update. This is basically the final for me, a final tier list. Again, Pincer formation just broke the game. And I'm really devastated about it because, you know, I spent a lot of money just to build combo damage formation armaments and stuff, and that was garbage. So I had to spend extra $200 to transfer those armaments back to Arch so that I can use it for Attila Subutai Rally. And now Pincer formation alone is going to be able to basically destroy the whole game with basically adding 2 auxiliary skills additionally to infantry commanders. It's just very disappointing. But anyways, this is basically what I have for you at this moment. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and drop a thumbs up and like the video. And always feel free to leave a comment down below if you don't disagree with anything. As you can see, I actually make adjustment based on your suggestions as well. And also, if you want to join the discussion about any of this, my Discord is very active and we talk about these things all the time. So if you want to go ahead and join the Discord, you'll be able to find the link from the description down below. And as always, I'll see you all on the next video. Thank you.